Good morning and welcome to another video by Russia UK. Right, this is going to be quite a sad video really, and the reason I'm going to explain that soon. Right, overnight there was a video that surfaced mainly on the WhatsApp group and everything, and this video was from a brother. Very brave of him to actually do that, I mean, and I really say thank you for the way you shared the video. I think it takes a lot of courage to do that. And basically what he was explaining how Wolverhampton Council actually caught up with him. Now the reason I'm saying this is because he is an actually Wolverhampton driver, badge plated driver, who works for both Uber and decided to work for Ola at the same time. Now obviously I don't want to share the video on this video because, well, frankly I haven't got the permission to do so, but throughout the night I've had one or two texts coming through my phone saying, can you please explain what's happened to this brother a bit more in depth, and can you explain what exactly has happened. Now I've mentioned this hundreds of times on the WhatsApp group I'm in and everything, and it's quite simple. Look, if you're a Wolverhampton badge license holder, you cannot work for two bases. God's sake, they even tell you that when you actually go to to get the badge training they give you. They specifically tell you that you cannot work for two bases at the same time. So what I'm going to do is explain you a bit more, on this video, how everything works, and I'll show you, roughly how it should be done, and the way I was about to do the same thing regarding TFL, because that's one thing I wanted to get a few years ago, before actually Uber changed all the policies. Was basically with TFL, their license meant you actually just have one disc in the back of your window, which I was quite fond of actually, because I didn't want to really expose my car, being a private hire driver. With Birmingham, you got plastic, it's all plastered all over, but with TFL you just had one specific disc at the back, and the reason I wanted to go and get a TFL badge as well at the same time. But let's stick to this first, and this is from my understanding, and please, if I'm wrong, correct me, write a comment on back of this underneath the video. Right, when you first join an operator as a Wolverhampton badge driver, you actually go and give a copy of your, what they call a hard copy, your letter to, say, Uber, because you've just gone and joined Uber. Right, Uber in turn will keep that for their record. They're not going to do anything with it. That is their record. Now at the same time, you're meant to tell Wolverhampton Council, this is the operator I work for. So Wolverhampton Council at the same time know exactly who they need to contact, and if there's any problem with you, so they'll go they'll look at their record and say, well, he works for Uber. Bang. Straightforward, nothing complicated about it. Right, so now, you want to go and work for Ola, and you do the same procedure again. You go to the Ola office, you give your hard copy of that, and this is what it is. There is nothing wrong with Ola doing this, because they don't know if you work for Uber, they don't know if you're a new driver, so that they're perfectly in their rights to accept you as a driver. And now, so what that means for you now is you need to update your record with your council, because that's one of the regulations you have to do. So you would actually go and ring Wolverhampton Council and say, look, I've changed my operator, I'm working for Ola now. So they would have in turn changed the record as well. Now I think there is a time gap between there. I'm not sure what it is. Is it 48 hours, 7 days? I'm not sure, because obviously I haven't got a Birmingham Wolverhampton badge. But that's the procedure you need to follow. Now, sadly, this is not what's been happening. A lot of our brothers are starting to work for Uber and Ola at the same time. Now, I'm going to make this quite frank actually, because there's no other way of putting it gently. Now, you work for Uber, as I said, and you also just gone and joined Ola. Now, listen to this carefully. The first job you do for Ola, not for Uber, for Ola, will mean that now you work for a new operator. Okay? I've said it slowly enough. The first job you do for Ola will mean that you work for a new operator. Okay? You got that. Now, after that, any job you do for Uber will mean that you are not insured. You're illegal. Your insurance company is not going to be valid. You're uninsured. That is the first. So you worked for Ola. You've done a first job for Ola. Ola's a bit quiet. Or you think, I'm going to put Uber on. As soon as you put that Uber on, you are working illegally, uninsured. Anything happens to that Uber passenger, you could take many Ola jobs as you want. You're perfectly legal to do that. Well, you're not, because you haven't even informed them yet. So basically it's 100%. You don't even get a look into this. But let's just say, right, you are just working for Uber, and you decided to do the odd jobs for Ola. As soon as you do an Uber job, every time you do an Uber job, it's all illegal. It's all illegal. And should the council catch you, like they done to this brother, Uber straight away will deactivate you. There's no ifs and buts about Uber. You've seen enough times, you've watched enough videos of mine to know that Uber don't take any rubbish from anyone. Doesn't matter who you are, what your rating is, how much. For God's sake, they sacked the CEO, the guy who founded the flipping company. You think they're going to mess around with you? No chance. They will straight away deactivate you. And you've seen all the letters, emails, sorry, they don't write any letters anymore, from Uber, time and time, probably about every month, saying to drivers, you got to stick to your term and condition of the local authority that's issued your license. But if you're not doing that, you can't even go and fight against Uber and saying, look, I want to join you back and everything if they deactivate you. And obviously I'm presuming that Uber will not take you back on again, because that is a serious crime. What you are doing right now, after you've done an Ola job, is taking Uber passengers uninsured all the time. How risky is that? Can you imagine from Uber's side? They have bad press all the time. The last thing they want now, right, is someone to say on the press, or the thing to go on the press and saying, X amount of jobs of drivers have completed, and they are uninsured because of that driver not fulfilling his regularities, the councils, the term and conditions they have put towards it. It sounds harsh, and have to be harsh, because this is not a joke. We're all clever and we all think we could do this and that, but trust me, this is not the way to play this game. Now, as I said just before I started this video, if you are going to do this, and if you want to work for two bases, go and apply for a Birmingham license. Okay, it's hard, it's not easy, it's a lot easier than what it was, but it is hard. Now, going back to the story I was talking about earlier, about how I wanted a TfL license, and the main reason for that was, I would have actually gone and got one. I would have applied for a TfL license. I would have, if there was I don't know how it works, but if there was, for instance, like Birmingham has, you have to have a knowledge test and everything, I would have actually gone to London, worked for a local base, probably about 5 local bases over a 5-month period. So I would have had north, south, east, west, whatever it is, and central. And so I have a good knowledge of how the London network works, the TfL network. And I would have made sure I specifically got a license, and that was mainly because that would have benefited me, because in turn I would have been able to work in Birmingham without all these stickers plastered everywhere or anywhere in the UK. And obviously that's not possible now because of, you know, having a TfL license. You know, you can't work in Birmingham, you can't work in Manchester, Leeds, York, whatever. But you get the story, you get the gist of what I'm trying to say. This is serious stuff, guys. You really need to understand. You know, I mean, you probably, the chances are you probably won't get caught, but if you do, you know, I mean, you lose everything, right? And so sorry about this. You know, it sounds a bit dismal, but you know, there's no other way of actually putting it. You know, but I do want you to understand the seriousness of it, the severity of it. You know, there's no other way. Anyway, I'll leave you to it, and I'll speak to you guys later. Bye bye now.